Hi, this is Anil Bhartia, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk. And today we have with us Amir Kotler, CEO of Veego. Amir, first of all, thanks for coming to the show. I want to know the story behind the name Vigo. Is it like Vigo, or there's some other connotation as well?
It's like it started, founders are throwing to the air so many options of name for companies, for new companies, and quite frankly, it was a mix between two opinions. It's in the Hebrew tradition or in the Israeli tradition, it's everything is okay. It's like a green light. And go, it's mean do it. So it's because we came to help support centers and customer experience departments. It's like, okay, we understand. Let's put a V and that's it. Let's go. So it's a mix of two words, Vigo.
So it's like let's go. It's all good. Let's go, right?
Exactly. And again, okay, we came across a kind of a village in Spain, a Vigo, but we thought that, why not? It's still kind of a catchy name.
Now I got the story behind the name. Let's understand the story behind the company itself. What do you guys do there?
It's a funny story as well. If you have the time, we came from the cyber world. At least two out of the three founders. I have been in this space of cyber so many years. I stopped counting after 10 years. I think that the total years is something like 13. And we thought that it's a good way to leave the cyber world and invent something different. But you know what? Not so different conceptually. Different when it comes to product, market, customers. And after 13 years of looking for a way to help organization to find, to detect, to locate, to identify, to put a signature on cyber attack, I decided to look for a technical way to help support organization to put a signature on malfunction, on problems when it comes to your way to consume internet inside your home. I'm sure that you are facing at least, or you faced a lot of internet problem as a home user. While playing games, doing Zoom, or just using your tablet to find your favorite website. Glitch, lag, connectivity problems. It's something that we all know, especially during Corona days, when broadband consumption, become so high compared to the pre-Corona days, pre-COVID-19. So I know that you are going to be a little bit amazed, and probably your viewers, but at the end of the day, we thought that a problem with the consumption of broadband might act the same when it comes like cyber attack, meaning we can find what is really wrong. We can find what's really making you experience your internet less than you expected. So maybe we can even find a signature that the ISP and yourself might help yourself, or the ISP support organization will help you after we would help them identify the root cause and the problem in a way it will be crystal clear, like Vigo, and you can go, right? So that's the original reason. We are an expert when it comes to customer experience for the home users while consuming their internet, and we can do it in a way that we can see the entire service chain. We will explain immediately what it is and help the user and or the ISP to solve problem much quicker.
So are you specifically targeting home users, or you also cater to enterprise customers as well?
Neither. I am putting all of my chips all on the ISPs. I believe that ISPs needs artificial intelligence after the banks use artificial intelligence and other sectors are using. ISPs needs artificial intelligence in order to understand better problems at your home, at 1.1 billion homes all over the place. and we are going to provide our technology at their disposal in order to detect problems easier and release their customer from their pain. So there are we are a B2B business, but no doubt that they can use pieces of our technology to give their customers for a better self-care. But our technology is being passed on to the ISP to use for operation, customer experience, customer support, and of course, marketing for upsell and cross-sell opportunities.
Right. The reason I asked was because I also want to understand about your stack as well, the software or hardware stack that you're building. The reason was because sometimes in the enterprise world, the concerns are a bit different. Sometimes they're like real-time threats. Like if you're a financial industry, you have to do threat detection, you have fraud detection. Whereas as home users, the concerns are a bit different. That's why I want to differentiate. Now, can you talk a bit about the technology stack that you're building? Are you hardware specific or your software specific? I understand it should be both, but
we are software only. We are using the fact that the ISP put a router in your home, and we are using the basic way of the ISPs to we are a piece of software sitting on the router of the ISP that had been provided to you, and we can see from the router, which is the gateway of the chain, we can see inside your home and outside the home. So the entire service chain is under our full control. That's why we can pinpoint, we can feel and sense any problems that will affect your experience while consuming service in your home. And we can immediately understand, because of our smart signature, what is the location of the problem, and immediately pass this information as a signed and sealed signature to the ISP to start communicate with you, even without you calling him or much before you decided to call him.
Can you talk about some of the concept, because you mentioned AI ML, you're leveraging some of the concept that you're using to offer these services. Like one of the thing is I was reading about was context awareness. So can you talk a bit about all the concept that are driving your AI ML models there?
I can explain you while giving you a kind of a short joke, if you don't mind. When you are looking for, you are coming to a parking lot and you want to, and it's very, very busy, and you want to find an open space to park your car, right? It's something that you have in your mind. You can find a parking place, kind of focusing your mind to, or you are looking for, cars that are getting out of, or you are looking for people that are getting near their cars, hoping they are entering to the cars and leaving, right? But your eyes, you might look for people and you might look for cars. When it comes to internet problems, and there are so many, there are two ways like finding a parking spot. You can put a probe. You can put a probe, like kind of a sensor in the infrastructure. And when the infrastructure is becoming, not so great, you are, waving a flag. It's kind of a old-fashioned technology, but still work, by the way. We are doing it differently. We understand that your problems are fully connected to the service you are consuming. It's not correlated or not related to the infrastructure. And let me give you an example that will be very, very easy to understand. Imagine you are doing a Zoom with me right now, and assuming you're doing it from your home, and someone else in your home are playing game, let's think about Fortnite, okay? And another person in your home is watching his favorite movie on Netflix, right? And you know what? The two people that at the same time watching Netflix and Fortnite are enjoying their experience fully. They are really enjoying doing this by themselves, no problem, no lag, no buffer, nothing, meaning their total experience is 100% great. But you at the same time, feeling not so great. You cannot hear me, you cannot see me, something is wrong with you. So, and why? The Wi-Fi is probably okay because two people are enjoying the experience and you're not. So, And what's the problem? So it's an infrastructure problem, but everybody still is happy. And you know what? Another guy is now entering to the home and is now downloading a movie from his WhatsApp application. So what's wrong with me? Why I am the only one that feel uncomfortable with the experience? Should I call the ISP and inform you about the problem? Why? The router is great and the Wi-Fi is great. Veego believes that in order to find what's wrong with your Zoom, what is wrong with any service that is being consumed right now, is while going down to the consume service level. Veego knows from end to end what to look for immediately when you start Zooming. What to look for when you are starting to use Netflix or Hulu or HBO or Disney streaming services. Every of the services I just mentioned and hundreds more have a certain behavior that the rest are not having. And when you have a router problem while you are Zooming, it means that something is wrong with the router, despite the fact that the other that are consuming other services are enjoying the router. Because anomalies is based on the service you are consumed. So this is context aware. The fact that Veego can go down to the service and making sure that you are going to enjoy your service and inform the ISP, and you, if the ISP will choose to do that, that you are going to face a problem. Your problem is the one. The problem is the Wi-Fi. The problem is the device you are holding from your home, in your hand. Because there is a way for you to Zoom with me using your own computer, and there is a way for you to do a Zoom with me using your, mobile phone. And you know what? The device itself might be the one that causing you the problem of consuming your service. That's why you are not Zooming and the other one are enjoying their Netflix and Fortnite experience, because something is wrong with the device you are holding in your hand and you cannot imagine this is a problem. And imagine that the ISP is informing you that something is wrong because Veego gave them the alert, and this is something wrong with your iPhone or with your Android. So you don't even need to call the ISP because this is not part of their responsibility. This is not part of their territory. So in order to really give you and the ISP a 100% accurate information about problem and the root cause, finding anomalies in what you consuming is probably the only way, and you can do it only with artificial intelligence. You have no way to do it by putting a probe, that kind of a watchdog that are keeping your Wi-Fi alive. That's too old when it comes to technology. And if I can add another sentence, really short sentence, it will also give the ISP the ability to treat you differently than other home, because we are giving the ISP the ability to, while they are providing you support, to treat you differently than other houses which are actually consuming different services. It's like treating a disease. You need to understand the DNA of the problem of each individual. And today, if you can, I'm sure that you are going to agree with me, the service, when it comes to internet service, is very homogenic, as if everybody is the same. But young people are consuming TikTok and Zoom, and old people are using IoT medical devices. These are different kind of devices and different kind of consumed service, so they deserve a different and dedicated support. This is Veego.
Right. I understand now very well. So basically, what is happening is that your software is running on the router of the Pro ISP, but it is also scanning all the devices connected to that network, so that it does know that the problem is at the device and not with the router or with the pipeline that is coming through. Now that part I understand. But I think the ultimate goal is to offer as users seamless experience. I really like, for example, if I take Uber, I don't really care whether my app is not working, whether my network is bad, whatever it is that I just want to get an Uber or I want to Netflix. So do you stop just by telling ISP, hey, you know what, as you mentioned in your answer that, well, this is not the problem of the ISP if there is something wrong with the phone, but the user is not happy. So the user is going to call ISP no matter what, because most of those users are not techies to go into that, and sometimes they don't even know how to renew their lease or whatever. So do you stop only letting ISP know that, hey, you know what, no, this is not your problem, or do you actually your stack actually inform that, hey, this is the problem, so that ISP can proactively mitigate it for the user?
It's a very good question. So basically, I'm providing information about the root cause. I'm isolating the problem for the benefit of the ISP to tell him, hey, the customer has a problem right now, and it's located in A, B, C, D, or E. There are 5 different places. By the way, when it comes to subcomponent, there are much more than 5, but general component, there are 5 components. There is the router, there is the WAN, which is the outside connectivity. There is the Wi-Fi, of course, or any other inner connection. It can be Zigbee, Z-Wave, kind of new generation way of smart devices to speak with hubs and routers. There is a device itself, and there is the cloud. Sometimes the reason why you cannot watch your Netflix movie is because of the cloud of Netflix, the cloud of Fortnite, or the subcloud above Europe. There are many, many ways. So that's basic. That's the basic. But you're right. I cannot stop here because, as you said, people will still going to call. So I'm going to ask for smart ISPs to go another mile with me. Furthermore, I'm encouraging him to put and share as quickly as possible a smart app to its customers. Many are using their own right now, and if not, they can use mine. That's part of the price, by the way. I'm not charging more. I was not born to the world in order to develop a smart app. That's not my game. But I understand, because of your question, that will complete my solution. That will make my solution be more comprehensive. Coast to coast, really coast to coast. And some of the pieces of our technology are there to show the customer who are the real service provider he needs to call. Because if it is the device or the cloud, it's not part of the responsibility of the ISP. He can release himself much quicker if he will call the right guy. And I'm going even further more than that. I am also putting a recommendation as part of the app, what the customer needs to do, even if it is part of the territory of the ISP, to do reset, to put an extender, things that I can 100% sure will fix the problem because I know the pathology of the problem. That's my game. So if I know the pathology of the problem, I also know what will be the cure. And in some cases, the cure can be very, very simple. You are far from the router. You have too many devices on your first floor. You need an extender. It's a neighbor interference. There are hundreds reasons for you to feel bad when it comes to your experience. And one more sentence. When we are diagnosing that the problem is the Wi-Fi, if we have a signature on the Wi-Fi as the problem resource, meaning that we are absolutely sure that this is there, Veego will go one step further and will do an auto repair and will bring the Wi-Fi back to normal, especially when it comes to really doing some surgical repair. And again, because we know for sure that this is the Wi-Fi, we don't need to test or and harm. If we will test, going back to the example of the Netflix, Fortnite, and Zoom at the same time, we can bring your Zoom back to business, but we can do some harmful thing to the ones that are playing games and watching Netflix. We call it a surgical repair. We know the pathology of the problem, and if we diagnose that the problem is the Wi-Fi, we can change band, we can change channel, and we can guarantee that post-change, normal experience will return with peace and quiet.
So you're mentioning that the ISPs, they can use their technologies or they can leverage yours. So are there any competitors as well? Who do you compete with actually?
Okay. So again, I think that our major competitor, when it comes to technology, again, we have two main differentiators that are protecting us when we are explaining ourselves to the ISP. The fact that we are, kind of context-aware company, we are going down to the consume service. It's something that really the industry haven't heard so far. And I think that another advantage of Veego is the fact that we are not really, the reason why we are sitting on the router is the gateway of your home, but it's the middle component of the chain. Two components are, inside your home, the other, not the router, the Wi-Fi and the device you are consuming, and the one in the cloud. So we are sitting in a perfect location to see end-to-end. Meaning, it's amazing because we can really, using our technology, we can really point where the problem is what's the problem that had been caused, who is responsible for the problem. And by the way, we are getting near kind of a perfection by understanding that any component has many sub-components. The one is not one component. The one has many, many components. You have the last mile, you have the first mile, you have 6 or 7 different. And today, by the way, 5G is coming, so, it's being complicated. So we need to be expert in those sub-components as well. So the end-to-end is our second one. But many players, good players, by the way, are competing the heart of the customer, of the ISP, and might tell him good arguments about the fact that he doesn't need end-to-end. 70-80% of the problems are, let's say, are inside the Wi-Fi component. These are the main problem. So the Wi-Fi optimization industry might be a good way for our customer, ISP, to say, it's good enough for us. It's good technology that can give us a nice overview, a good visibility on the Wi-Fi. And because of 70-80 depends on, the ISPs, most of the problems are there anywhere. I would like to drill down on the Wi-Fi. And if it is the Wi-Fi, I can fix it for the customer or send him a technician or replace his router. And if not, he needs to call me again. So I think that there are many, many competitors that are in charge of one component or the other, sometimes even 2 components, router and Wi-Fi, for something, but no one can see the entire chain, and no one is definitely look at a malfunction or a problem as something that you need to understand the consume service. But those are great solutions as well. They can do the job and help the ISP to, I would say, to achieve major KPIs. Make phone calls much shorter by identifying the problem. They can even sometimes even eliminate some of the phone calls. They can even prevent on-site technicians. They can even prevent unnecessary hardware replacement. We believe that the only way to really achieve those KPIs is to be in full control of the chain and do it service-aware way of business. That's what we believe. But there is another KPI that those competitors cannot achieve. The fifth one, the fifth wheel, if you want. It's a customer experience index. All of the ISPs today has those KPI which I just mentioned, which is, I would say, support KPIs. How to save money, how to make sure that for them to, not spend so much money on their customers. There is kind of the ARPU. They need that the ARPU will be positive. The average revenue will be positive. I understand that. But Corona did something to the world of ISP. Corona teach the ISP that, with all due respect to KPI for support, what about measuring your customer satisfaction and not through the support logs or the support CRM? How many times you called them during the year? How much time did you spend with the support center? What about, I would like to know, how is your streaming experience in the last year? Even without checking how many times you call me today or this year. I just want to know your streaming experience. I want to know your gaming experience. I want to, without even looking at my CRM and checking whether you called me 8 times this year or 0 times this year. Because I want to be the best. I'm taking from you $70, $17 a year, $60, $80 after negotiation. I want you not to replace me. I don't want you to keep anything on your chest. I want to know anything you are facing without judging the number of phone calls you created last year. And this is something you cannot do without a 24/7 monitoring, context-aware service that can check your experience level, experience score, broadband score if you want. And that's the only way that you can do that. I will agree, by the way, that this is not yet a well-known KPI for the ISP to use. But if that will be embraced by the ISP, Veego will be very, very successful.
Awesome. Thank you so much, because now I do have a very good understanding of not only what Veego does, but also it spans beyond the basic, troubleshooting that we not expect, but we mostly get from ISPs that, hey, your internet is down, you call them up and then they'll send a guy. But here, by bringing machine learning and AI capabilities to the box itself, to the switch itself, you are improving not only the customer experience, but also the value that it adds to ISP itself. Because if you have a happy customer, you retain that customer, you retain the loyalty. So once again, Amir, thank you so much for taking time out and talking about your offering today. And I look forward to talk to you again. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you much for investing the time.